Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Please like, share and subscribe and activate the notifications bell. And let's start with this week's energy. So, I'm gonna try to be as brief as possible because the last few videos in this channel have been quite long, and that is because November's energy has been very dense, very intense, due to Scorpio season. Thankfully, on the 22nd, we had the sun going to Sagittarius. Happy birthday to all Sagittarians. And that tends to leave things a little bit, the energy a little bit lighter, but it tends to leave our minds, well, the energy a little bit more expensive. That's why I'm all over the place always, but I'm gonna be a little bit more out there in this video due to Sagittarius energy, but also because Mercury is in its shadow period, because it's gonna be retrograde on the 26th, I think. Let me see here. Yep. So it's already starting to step on the brakes, and every time Mercury goes retrograde, it's a disaster for me. But when it gets into the shadow period, is already bad for my mind. But anyway. And when it's Sagittarius energy, because it has like this expensive energy of going beyond, and Mercury is retrograde, is going retrograde in Sagittarius. It's almost like those slow motion effects on movies that something wants to expand, but at the same time it's like, whoa, it's slow. That's how my brain works during this time, so I apologize if I become too dumb in this video. In a nutshell, dumb. I cannot even think in a smarter word to say. So yeah, what do we have this week aside from Mercury retrograde? I'm not even gonna talk a lot about astrology. I'm trying to stay away from astrology because there's been too much astrology lately. I'm gonna be more focused on the energy itself and on the downloads that I have. Like, I have notes, very well organized notes as usual. God, such a disaster. And for me, the most important thing happening, because these notes were, I mean, a lot of what I say is channeled, but I had this huge channeling before recording, and I just started writing down a lot of things, so you're gonna have to bear with me, because remember, I record these videos. That's why I started taking notes, because I record these videos in 2 languages. And anyway, for me, there's this very important moment happening on December 1st, which is gonna be the new moon in Sagittarius. And every new moon, as I always say in this channel, is when the moon and the sun, they're conjunct to one another. And the moon in Sagittarius is gonna make on the 17th, not 17th, sorry, on the 1st of December, is gonna make a perfect opposition to Jupiter in Gemini at 17 degrees. That's why 17, at 17 degrees. And the moon is gonna be conjunct to the sun and Mercury retrograde on in Sagittarius. And this whole energy speaks a lot to us, and you kind of you guys maybe are feeling this energy already. For me, there is this energy of being very optimistic about yourselves, and starting to bet on yourselves, being confident of yourselves. Maybe you don't even, and that is the energy, that is this whole conversation with Jupiter. Remember that previously I was talking about sometimes we were feeling like there were some projects that we had to put on hold because we didn't know what to do, and or maybe it was too much to handle because the energies were too dense, and we were actually shaving off some things and cutting some things, and it's like, whoa, just we're getting rid of things. I can only handle too much now, so I cannot deal with too many ideas for now. Now is the time for the opposite, and I feel that a lot has gone by, that you guys maybe don't know what you want, but you certainly know what you don't want, and you're actually on a quest to know. You're starting to feel more confident with who you are as a spirit, and you're on a quest to find out what do you want to fill your life with. And in order to do that, it's like you're in this energy that is a very Sagittarius energy, especially with this Jupiter and Gemini, with his opposition, all this talking with each other, and these guys are squaring Saturn in Pisces, which brings to this whole conversation a sense of commitment, spiritual commitment, and a seriousness of a spiritual seriousness with ourselves and with our spiritual journey. My God, I completely forgot what I was going to say. The squaring. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, guys. It's just too much. And I'm a Pisces. Pisceans with Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Our brains don't work very well. I'm sorry. We have a lot of talents, especially me, but communication is not one of them. The perks of being an abstract person is there are lots of perks, but the bad side is I'm not a very objective person, especially when it comes to communicating, especially in a language that is not my own. Anyway, but anyway, this Saturn in Pisces is squaring this moon and Sun and Mercury in Sagittarius, and the Saturn in Gemini, bringing to this conversation this whole spiritual seriousness and this commitment to ourselves. And it is as if, I always say new moons are times of planting seeds, of planting things. And I feel like the Sagittarian energy, especially with this Jupiter energy, again, Jupiter is expensive, but it's not just any type of expansion, is, because it's talking to Sagittarius, it is this expansion towards something greater. And again, with this spiritual consciousness that Jupiter has, and Sagittarius brings that as well, because Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. So there's a lot of Sagittarian energy in the air, bringing not only optimism, but also this optimism and faith, again, in yourselves and in spirit. So there's a lot of spiritual communications with your higher selves, I believe, with your higher selves. And there's a feeling of, yes, I can do it. I can do everything I set my mind to, because I learned to, it's like you're learning to tame yourselves and to focus. I always say Sagittarius is a centaur, because the top part is human And the bottom part is the animal part, and it's like the human is the one who controls, the rational part is the one who controls the irrational part, and the rational human part, which is the more angelical one, is the one, and again, the conscient one, that has access to a higher mind, is the one that has an arrow that is pointing towards something greater. It is ambitious. It's always looking forward. It's always looking to the gods, to the stars, to higher philosophies. It's always looking to improve. It doesn't want to be just a horse or just a man. It wants to be something bigger, better, greater. And again, it's a fire sign, and it's a mutable fire sign. So it has this power in it. I always mock by saying it is a horse. It is a powerhouse. So it's like, if you want to stop it, you can't. When you want to, if you try to stop a Sagittarius when they put something in their minds, you just can't, because it is a mutable fire sign, and fire is this spiritual energy, and it's pure energy. It's and again, because it's mutable, if they don't find a way, they will contour the obstacles. It's like a fire that has conscience. It's not like a fire that will try to burn things there in their path, like, for example, Leo and Aries, that are going to try to burn things in their pathway to get what they want. No, Sagittarius, they try to find ways to get to what they want. So it's like a fire that spreads out, especially when it's having this conversation with Jupiter. And I feel that this week, again, new moon is spreading seeds, and Jupiter in Gemini is giving you this idea of, remember all those projects and ideas that you had about your future? Now is the time for you to spread your seeds everywhere you want them to be. Even if you don't know where this is going to lead to, just try it. Just bet on yourself. Just see where it goes. It's like that leap of faith. Just risk it. And Sagittarius is all about risking, taking risks. It's a very brave, courageous sign. It's a centaur, for Christ's sakes. And I feel like, remember in the previous video that I said that, did I say that? I don't remember. Probably I did. That one of the reasons why I changed a lot of the services I offer regarding readings, and I don't like when people come to me when they want to know like yes or no answers and all about free will and all of these things, that we are co-creators and blah blah blah, because most people want to control their destinies out of fear, because they want to know the answer for either or paths, and that is not a good thing, because we can only see, like, as mediums, as readers, whatever, we can only see two paths, because we can only see windows, frames of things that already exist as energy. But you are the co-creator of your life, so you can, if you risk something, you can always create a third energy, but you are the one who has to take the risk to create this third energy. If you don't risk it, there will never be this third energy. There will only be like these two energies. So the third one, you're the one who has to create it through risking something. This Sagittarius energy that this new moon is going to bring is this energy of creating a third, a fourth, a fifth. It's like, I'm just gonna spread these seeds. I'm just gonna risk in a lot of places, take risks, because I want to see where something grows. Again, because I'm not sure, I'm starting to be sure of who I am as a soul, because I'm becoming conscious of again, I'm becoming very close to my higher self and my guides and spirituality. So, and I took away all my masks and I shed a lot. So, I'm not having like any I'm trying to get rid of mental limitations from society and emotional bonds and things that don't work for me anymore. So I'm getting more comfortable with being me as a spirit and getting closer and closer to me as a spirit. But I feel like I have to start bringing that to reality, because this is what we're going to do for the next God knows how many years, especially starting on 2025 with the eclipses on the axis Pisces Virgo, which I've been talking about for a long time in this channel. But in order to do that, I have to see, it's like I became an empty vessel in this material 3D world. So I need to figure out what I like from now on. And in order to do that, I have to plant new things and see what happens. So I have to take risks. And it's like a kid trying new flavors, trying new colors. And it's, for me, it's like an octopus spreading its tentacles everywhere and just seeing where it sticks better, where it's more interesting. Again, it's not just one timeline, two timelines. It's like, yeah, I'm creating a lot of timelines for myself to explore later on, because now it's the time to plant. It's not the time, it's just the time to focus on planting, nothing more. I don't have to worry about anything else. And it's funny because, well, it's not funny because it's no coincidence. That's why I took notes. There are some very, very astrological, and not just astrological, but astronomical, because astrology, I always say, is the spiritual part of astronomy. Astronomy is like the material side of astrology. Astrology is the energetic soul side of the stars. But it is important for us to know astronomy as well. And I had these downloads, and I kind of had to see for myself sometimes. I really go after this information to see if it's true. I'm like, really? Is this really happening? Because it's just too much coincidence. And again, there are no coincidences. There are some really amazing phenomena happening, especially on the 1st of December, between the November 30th and 1st of December, because that's when the moon is going to become, is going to be the new moon. And in order to explain that, I'm going to have to go way a little bit into mythology, as usual, and a little bit into how I feel the world and these symbolic energies and archetypes incorporated into human lore throughout time, like this hidden wisdom of the ages. This is how I view things. Anyway, so starting with the star Sirius. Sirius, for me, it represents the goddess Isis. There's a lot of, by the way, there's a lot, all of these downloads that I had, we're actually going to use the Syrian tarot today, because there was a lot of Sirius energy coming today, especially from the goddess Isis. And I really like Isis. I have a very close bond to Isis. And Isis, for me, is very related to the star Sirius. And Sirius is almost like this higher octave of our sun. That is why we're always, we can always see Sirius in the horizon. Is this very bright star. We're very fascinated with the star Sirius as humanity. And Sirius represents a conscience that, again, it is a love conscience that guides our sun into evolution. that is why I say it's the higher octave of our sun. It's what our sun aspires to evolve to. It's a guiding light to our light. And that is why Sirius for me is represented by the goddess Iris in the myths, in the myth of, in the Egyptian myths, because Isis literally is pure love in the myths. Sirius is a star in the constellation of Canis Major, the dog that is a companion to Orion, Orion the hunter, who was the son of Poseidon, if I'm not mistaken. He was one of the sons of Poseidon. So they're very close to each other. The Orion belt, you can actually locate Sirius by locating the Orion belt in the horizon. So Sirius is in the same system as Orion, but is not in the same constellation. Orion are the three stars that are aligned to one another. They're the easiest ones to see because there are other stars. They are the main ones that are the easiest ones to see by naked eye. Mintaka, Aunilan, and Aunitak. I never remember if it's Aunitak, Aunilak. I have to check. Let me check. I think they have it in this book. Aunitak, yeah. Aunitak, Aunilan, and Mintaka. These are the three stars. And Orion is also another constellation that human beings always were fascinated by it. A lot of ancient civilizations align their buildings with Orion, with the Orion belt. The main Egyptian pyramids are aligned to the Orion belt, and that is because the constellation of Orion is symbolic of our human experience in incarnation on this planet. And one thing about Orion that is very particular of Orion is that because of Orion's disposition regarding Earth, we don't see Orion changing places in the sky like horizontally or diagonally. Orion only goes up and down in the horizon due to again, to angles, how things are positioned in the skies in relation to one another, and due to a movement of Earth called precession. The ancient people, they used to keep tabs on horizon's position in this ascending and descending movement of horizon in the horizon. Orion on the horizon. Jesus, this is just so hard to say. Orion on the horizon. And due to these precession cycle, Orion, as of today, especially after the year 2000, is at its highest point of elevation. And that has a huge symbolism for us. Again, in terms of movements of these cycles, it's at its highest point. I'm gonna see if I can find an image that it's from an ancient Egyptology book. I'm gonna see if I can find it to put it in video so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But anyway, because it is at its highest point in the horizon, that means that it's time, for me, that means that it's time that we're being called into ascension, literally. Because remember what I said about Orion. it symbolizes our experience as humans incarnated on Earth. So if it is at its highest point, it's like, yep, it's time for you guys to be at your highest. So it's this ascension movement that we're having, and not just that. Remember that I said there's a lot of energy of Isis and all of that. And Sirius and Isis represent love. And why is that? And why the Egyptians had all of these things with Orion and Sirius and Isis and all of these myths, is the metaphor of love helping us to always, love is the tool, is a force, it's not a tool. Love is the force, is the universal force that helps us, what is the word? Rescue. That helps us rescue our spirit, no matter the circumstances. Because during the Egyptian myths, throughout the whole Egyptian myths, I'm not going to get into detail, otherwise this becomes the whole workshop. Not just a workshop, it's like the study of a lifetime. But throughout the Egyptian myths, Isis is always saving Osiris. And Osiris symbolizes spirit. And Isis is always saving him in these myths. So it's like, no matter what happens to our spirit, we're always coming back and having a new chance, thanks to love. And there's a time when Osiris's brother, Seth represents the material world, represents matter, represents ego, which is always trying to create illusion and destroy spirit. So there's a time that Seth fragments Osiris, makes our spirit fragmented, and Isis love and spreads it throughout Egypt. Isis gathers all the fragments, and they're and she just assembles them all, reunites them all. So again, it's the assembling of our fragmented spirit, that we're trying to do that in matter, and through the power of love once again. And there gets to a point that she gets impregnated by Osiris and has a son, Horus, that half falcon, half man god. And the falcon represents clarity and higher vision, whatever. I'm not gonna get there yet. But after that, Osiris kind of gets tired and decides to retire himself to the underworld. And the underworld represents the spiritual world. So eventually, when we become just too spiritual, and people who become too spiritual and don't and are not in touch with matter anymore, or spirits that don't have to incarnate anymore, they just go to the underworld. They just go to spirit world. They don't get in touch with matter. So when that happens, Seth starts ruling. So matter wins. Matter starts ruling. Chaos starts ruling and starts spreading. Illusion starts spreading. So when we have our spirits retired, matter and illusion and chaos is what reigns, which is what we have today in the world. But remember, love, Isis, had a son, Horus, higher vision, falcon, which Horus's symbol is that big eye that represents the third eye which is again our third eye chakra, connection with higher mind, clarity of vision, the chakra that controls our connection to limiting beliefs, and again the power of this notion that we are the ones who create our own reality due to the power of the mind. Not just that symbol literally is a representation of an organ that we have in our brain, that connects us to the spiritual world, through our crown chakra. So there are lots of symbolism in Egyptian mythology that we can only get it if we have the right keys to open the right doors. If not, it's just a bunch of little stories. There's a lot of wisdom there, spiritual wisdom, and I'm trying to put it all in a nutshell as quick as I can, just to get into this week's energy. Anyway, that's why even the crowns, like Osiris's crown is higher, represents higher Egypt, so spiritual world, higher mind, and Seth's crown represents lower Egypt, so lower world, lower mind, body, matter. Anyway, so through the power of love, Isis, she remembers her son Horus, what he was, he was raised to be, and Horus represents the awakened ones, the ones who never forgot the true, what spirit is, the true knowledge of life, but also who knows, again, who have the higher vision, the falcon and all of that, who have a sharp mind, but also the bringers of truth. But Horus is a great warrior as well. So he also represents the ones, and he was born on earth. So he represents the ones who fully integrated matter and spirit. And because he really knows how to integrate both, that's why he's able to conquer and defeat his uncle Seth and become the hero of Egypt. That's why Horus is the great hero, and that's why we relate to Horus. That's why we are our own heroes. That's why we have to be heroes, and because we have to remember that we have a spirit. We have to be awakened. We have to be the awakened ones, the ones who never forgot the teachings of love, the spiritual teachings of life, but we also have to know how to integrate the material aspects of life and become heroes of our own lives. Have this clear vision and again liberate Egypt, the world, people from ignorance. That is the whole journey of the Egyptian mythology, and it is at its highest point in the horizon. So again, ascension. And not just that, remember that I said Sagittarius is all about believing in yourself, being a hero, having a higher mind, having faith, not just in the world, connecting with your guides, but especially with your higher mind, with your higher self, and having faith in yourself above all else. It's all this Horus energy, being your own hero. And the moon and the sun and Mercury retrograde, so it's going to make you rethink everything in your life and see things in a different perspective, and not take reckless decisions. So it's planting these seeds with a lot of careful thought. They are all in Sagittarius with this energy, and not just that. They are conjunct to a very special star, Antares. And see that I'm talking a lot about stars and astronomy today. The reason why it's special for it to be in Antares is because Antares is the heart of the Scorpio constellation, and it has a lot of meaning. Just like Sirius for me represents the higher octave of the sun, which is love. It has all to do with like this, all these Plato's virtues of love and justice and good that we have to go after as conscience, because this is what source is. This is what source has, is love, good, justice. So these are main themes here today. This is what we're is it sorting? I think it is. Going after. Who says sorting? Just me. I'm weird. I'm like a sage or whatever. There are four stars that are related to the four fixed signs. No wonder they are fixed, the fixed signs, because they're the stars that anchor the energy on Earth. Again, influencing Earth, anchoring these archetypes, these energies to us, that we say that they are four royal stars, because they hold these royal, noble values for us to use as guidelines, for us to look forward to, and to aspire to. And again, they're related to the four fixed signs. First one is Aldebaran, which is the heart of the Taurus constellation. I always say there's this beautiful song by the singer Enya called Aldebaran. I suggest you guys listen to it. It's beautiful. And Aldebaran is always signaling to us the importance of knowing our values and the values that we want to embody. Because Taurus is all about embodiment. So Aldebaran is always making sure that we're looking for aspiring the right things to embody. Then we have the Leo constellation with Regulus. And Leo is all about courage and power. And not just any type of power. It's creative power. And again, braveness and nobility of soul. So Regulus brings us this theme of not being afraid of defending your ideals, going after, is having this braveness of being yourself, this of having this courage of going after your purpose, your mission, of being who you came to be, being a noble soul, in creating in this world, not being afraid to create what you came to do. Regulus does that for us. We also have, I always say the wrong name, so I wrote down the phonetics because I always had Foamholt, and apparently you don't say Foamholt. It's Fomalo. Fomalo. We have Fomalo, which, but it's written Fomahol. Anyway, but apparently it's Fomalo. Because I heard Fomalo, I was like, what is Fomalo? Isn't it Foamholt? That's why I discovered that it's actually Fomalo. Which is the main star of the Aquarius constellation. And it is actually at the feet of the Aquarius constellation, right at where the water that is poured from the jug, because the constellation of Aquarius, known as the water bearer, has this boy pouring water from a jug, and this waters represent the waters of conscience. Is this higher conscience that you have being poured into the world. Is again taking conscience of a higher knowledge and spreading it into the world, and making sure that everyone is having the same experience, is having the same knowledge. And FOMO, I almost said FOMHOLT. It literally comes from the Arab word, and it literally means the mouth of the southern fish, something like that. Because it is almost as if a fish, which would be us, is being nurtured by these waters, is receiving these waters, is acquiring knowledge. So FOMO, it represents this aim that we have for a higher conscience, and not just that, the knowledge that we are all equal to one another, just like fish, and that we need to aspire to something greater, and we have to be and just like the fish that needs water to live, we need spirit to live, and we need to be in contact with this higher conscience, and we need to be coherent with this higher conscience, because we need to, again, to be in contact with this water. So it is that idea of deep down we always know that we have to walk the talk. We have to aspire to big ideals, and these ideals have to come from a higher place, from a water that is coming down from a higher mind, from the heavens. It's not just from anywhere. And the last one is Antares. Antares is the heart of the Scorpio constellation. And Antares brings us this knowledge of the importance of transformation. How important it is for us to understand that we are in constant transformation, and the need to be in constant transformation, and the power there is in transforming ourselves. The power that lies inside of us when we transform ourselves, and that we hold that power, and how strong we are, and how strong we become every time we transform ourselves. So it's the power of transformation. And again, literally on the 1st of December, with the new moon conjunct to the sun, conjunct to this Mercury retrograde, which brings these spreading our seeds energy time, there, all of this is conjunct to Antares. So it's literally time for it's this knowledge that, hey, now is the time for me to transform myself. Now is the big time for transformation. I can feel it in something. I feel it. I don't know the music. I feel it in my toes, my bones, whatever. I'm horrible with songs, guys. But yeah, I feel it in my fingers. I think it is. I feel it in my fingers. Gosh, I'm sorry. I'm horrible with lyrics. Every time I try to sing something in this channel, I always end up humming like da na 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 na. Oh my god. Yeah. Memory. I almost sang Memory from Cats as well. Just shut up, Luciana. So yeah, guys, it is this feeling that I'm being called to ascend and to transform. And even though I don't know in what I'm transforming, I'm gonna start investing and seeing where it goes, investing in myself, because now is the time. And again, because I need to see where this goes. And next year, on I think it is November 2025 or July. Yeah, July 2025, Uranus is gonna go to Gemini. But then in November, it retrogrades to Taurus. But what happens when Uranus goes to Gemini is that it's gonna start this chit-chat, this very friendly chit-chat with Pluto in Aquarius. And these are the two cuckoo heads of the astrology. And again, and they're gonna act in the collective karmic level, but also individually. And Uranus is the wild card in astrology. And when it goes to Gemini, it's gonna start chit-chatting because it's gonna make a trine, and trine is this very fluid, positive energy. So it's gonna be a very positive conversation between the two loonies in astrology, saying, hey, you know those things that you kind of thought were gonna happen, that you wanted to transform? I'm Uranus and I'm very original. How about we do things a little differently and unexpectedly? And Pluto, which is radical and weird, and the, you know, that dark metalhead guy, weird guy that sits in the back of the classroom that you never know what's gonna happen, what to expect from him. Pluto's gonna go like, yeah, hell yeah, let's just do it. So you don't, the crazy artist with the crazy metalhead from the classroom, you don't know what's gonna happen. It's gonna have something brilliant. It's gonna come out of it because again, Pluto, it's committed to your spiritual path. That's what Pluto wants. If it hurts or not, it doesn't care. It wants you to stay committed with your evolution. Period. But Uranus is this higher conscience. Uranus see things, it's innovative and see things 20 years in the future because it's connected to a higher mind, and it's this rebel guy. But because it sees things far beyond, sometimes it's hard to grasp. That's why Uranus can be a little weird. And at the moment, you don't understand why it wants that and why it's doing that. So it can be scary. But Uranus is like, no, you can trust me. I know it sounds weird, but trust me, I'm seeing 20 years ahead. And you're like, okay. And the other one is like, trust him, it's for your own good. And you're like, okay. So in July 2025, these two are going to be chit-chatting with each other. Hey, how about we do it totally different? Just like I did with my hair. It's like, hey, how about a very dramatic change? And you're like, I don't know, I have to think about it. And because you and that is what's gonna happen. It's like, I'm gonna have to think about it, guys. It's just too much drama. That is why we're gonna have it retrograding back to Taurus. It's like, okay, we're gonna come back to you later. Think about it, okay? See if it's gonna work on your practical life. So we're gonna go, we're gonna send Uranus retrograde to Taurus, so you don't freak out too much. Because I just had this genius idea, but just keep it at the back of your mind. I'm gonna be quiet for a while, and then on, I think it is April 2026. April 2026, Uranus is gonna come back to Gemini. And is gonna knock at the door of the classroom. Is like, hey, it's me again. Have you thought about it? Our cool idea? So yeah, but this time I came back for good. I want you back. I want you back. I want you back for good. And now I'm gonna put my plans in action with Pluto. And it's gonna be a hell of a ride. So let's do it. Let's innovate. Let's do it completely different. And remember those seeds that you planted way before? The ones that you had no idea what would happen? Let's just make like Jack and a Beanstalk kind of thing. They were magical beans, but you weren't betting in any of them. So let's just pick the magical ones that you had no idea they were magical. Let's just make magic with it. I told you those ones were magic, but you had to believe it. Your intuition was telling you. So if you planted, great. If you didn't, boo-hoo, something's gonna happen. So now you're kind of feeling already this pull of, I need to do something. I need to spread out. I need to do different things. And I use like this example that maybe, I don't know, you were someone that was like, I don't know if I leave my job or if I stay in my job. And I was like, yeah, but maybe you don't have to do any of those two options. You can make a third one and stay in your job, but keep the idea of leaving your job. Stay in these two timelines, but create a third foot. And meanwhile, you start selling cakes as a sidekick. Gig, not kick. As a side gig. And maybe you create a fourth gig, I don't know, as a sidekick or something, as a party planner. So you already created 4 possible timelines in the weekends. And I'm also gonna, because I'm great at giving, I'm great at, I don't know, like landscaping. So every Sunday I also do landscaping. I'll do landscaping for some people. Maybe something comes, and just as a hobby, maybe something will come out of it. You already have 5 different timelines happening there, and one day Pluto with Uranus, and as time passes by, they're gonna go, whoopsie daisy, your job, that you didn't like, gone with the wind. And you're like, oh my god, but oh, thank god I had the landscaping, the cake thing, the party planner, the whatever option that I was looking for, and I ended up, I don't know, in a law firm, and whoopsie daisy, something else, whoopsie daisy, and you're gonna be surprised. I tell people I ended up doing this. This that I do today, it started by helping people, replying to posts on, it was even before Facebook. It was, I think it was called Orkut. I don't know. Yeah, on social media, I started replying to people who were talking dumb stuff about astrology and things like that, and I was 18. I was like, no, it's not that. And people started replying me very serious stuff on private, and I started helping them for free, like guiding them and helping. And spirituality just was like, oh, darling, you can you see that you're supposed to work with that? And I was like, no, I work with animation. And spirituality just started doing a lot of whoopsie daisies in my life, including blinding me so I could finally stop animating, because you cannot animate like Stevie Wonder. So I was like, okay, I get it now. I'm supposed to do this. I get it. So yeah, lots of whoopsie daisies. When in the world I would think I would be using my gifts for this? Never. Because I always hid them. Because people always thought I was crazy. And now I help a lot of people. And I literally helped a lot of people. Because in the beginning, a lot of them were actually thinking about, ending. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean, because I don't know if YouTube allows us to say, but they were thinking about ending everything, if you know what I mean. I was like, no, don't do that. So yeah, here I am, So yeah, big transformation, guys, for us. Big transformation. And now it's the time. Let's take out some cards, because I don't want to make this video any longer than it already is. Now for the cards. Especially because it's already very late at night. Because I've been having a very, very, very tight schedule. And it's becoming harder and harder and harder for me to record these videos. Algebra, which is at the cusp of Cancer and Leo. Number 10, Wheel of Fortune, which has all the 4 royal signs: Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus. Number 10, and related to our destiny. Strength and benevolence. Speak your truth and unleash your soul. Listen to the roar of your own heart. It's literally the energy, guys. Enough not being ourselves. Enough not doing what we came here to do. Is the commitment with our destiny. Again, the Wheel of Fortune, number 10. That's why I remember the Wheel of Fortune with all the 4 royal stars energy. Aldebaran, Antares, Fomalo, and Regulus. Oh my god, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to say Fomalo. For me, it's Fomahol. That's it. Alright. All these 4 virtues in us, and all of them connected by the power of Sirius, of Isis, love, pulsating in us. That is gonna be the Syrian Oracle, not Oracle, Tarot, closing the reading. But now, let's get a crystal grid for us to activate. Release. Tektite and Ulexite. I'm gonna read for you guys. There are things that need to be released. Now is the time. We cannot take any baggage. We cannot plant seeds that we don't want to plant anymore, guys. It's like, just plant the seeds that you want them, that you want to see growth. Even if you're like, oh, but maybe this is not gonna go anywhere. But if you want, if you see a chance there, then just, if there's something calling you to do it, then just do it. Just don't do it out of fear. Just don't act out of fear. That's why it says, listen to your roar in your own heart and unleash your truth. That is why you've got the Leo energy here. It's like, be brave. Okay? Tektite and Ulexite. Stellar communication, release, insight. Tektite, Ulexite, quartz, optical calcite. Tektite is meteoric glass formed by oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm so bad at reading today. Tektite is a meteoric glass formed by a meteorite impact with the earth. The impact melts the ground, splashing it over distance and speed, so that it forms into irregular shapes. You can imagine the speed at which the original meteorite hurled through the atmosphere and the great distance it had traveled. Tektite is here to help you release all of the lessons you have picked up along your journey. Have you accumulated a wealth of knowledge over your lifetimes? Or is it time to leave all that no longer serves you behind and move forward? You are an amazing being and should be proud of how you have learned from your past, which has helped you know how to navigate and focus on where you're going. This makes it a stone of transformation. See? Transformation. Oh my god. This makes it a stone of transformation, whereby the stone has literally combined with the earth and become something new. It is a beautiful balance of as above, so below. We co-create our reality, guys. It is also a stone that can aid telepathy, and because it comes from outer space, it is believed to aid communication with other worlds and beings. It is innate to gain knowledge from higher sources. Ulexite, or TV stone, as it is sometimes referred to, is an excellent companion to Tektite. It is a stone to help with clear seeing, whether that be into a problem, seeing into others, or seeing over distance. It will help magnify whatever you're searching for. If it is placed on your forehead when you're meditating, it may assist in giving you further insight and clarity in these matters. Just like Horus. We having clear minds. This is a powerful combination to bring any issue to the surface that you wish to let go of, while also creating a layer of protection around you. Yep. Not bringing any illusions from Seth, and conquering Seth, overcoming Seth's illusions, because we remember. We are the ones who remember. We are the ones. We're the heroes. Horus. We have to be the ones who kept the knowledge, who kept the mind clear. Okay. This week's energy. Oh my god, these cards are so big. And that's because I trimmed them down. Because they had this horrible border and I just couldn't take it. And my hands are huge. I don't know how small people deal with these cards, honestly. I think they use it vertically like this, but I don't like it. Because I still can hold them. Okay. Two of Swords. Orbs are swords. Two of Swords. The energy of... Oh my god, she had a TD. Whatever. YouTube. Just don't censor me. I didn't know that. Two of Swords. As the energy of the week. Again, things are not very clear for us when it comes to planning. When it comes to being very objective into what we want. That is why we have to follow our intuition and plant and balance the energy, not the energy, the seeds, and spread where we think, where we feel they should go to, not where we think, but where we feel they should go to. And there was something else that was coming, and I have to remember. My god, my mind just sucks. If I remember, I'll say it. Otherwise, this video is going to be too long if I keep trying to remember things. Because my mind is being too slow lately. And an energy to activate. Oh yeah, I remember. Well, this one just came out. If you're not clear of your feelings, because there's a lot of fog here. If you're not clear of your feelings, don't take action, okay? Because again, new moon is a time for planting. It's a time for planning. It's not a time for action. That is why it's a very still card. It's a time for you to plan and start spreading the seeds, following your intuition. And that is why you have to have a clear emotion. Not necessarily a clear mind, but a clear emotion, because the emotions, that's why the tektite with release emotions, release what doesn't serve you anymore came out. Because it is these things that are going to guide you. If there are any limiting beliefs, which rules this part, this Horus, the intuition part, you're not going to spread the right seeds. If you feel that, it's time for you to do some cleansing still. Okay? Right, yeah. Energy to activate. 5 of Cups. So pay attention if you have anything, any limiting beliefs. And I said that and I didn't even look at the card. It just came. If you have anything to deal with emotionally, think about the positives. Don't linger in the negatives. Let the negatives go. Because this, and just like I said, if there's anything emotionally still stuck on you guys, deal with it before planning anything ahead. Because it will bring the wrong, you will bring the wrong seeds if you do that. You have a very foggy ground. Can you see that she has a clear vision, but the ground is with fog. And what I feel is, if you don't have your emotions sorted out, if your emotions aren't sorted out, if you can't see clearly that you still have 2 cups, if you're still mourning for the things that are if you haven't released what you had to, if you're still mourning for things that you should have let go, it's as if this fog comes all the way up here and it clears your instincts, your intuition, your judgment, and you don't want that. Again, remember the Sagittarius energy. It is an arrow focusing on something before it shoots. And once you shoot, the energy isn't with you anymore. All you can do is aim as much as you can, focus. After you shoot the arrow, the energy is with destiny. And most people want like a torpedo. It's like, oh, please let me direct my arrow as well while it's traveling. It's like, no, this is not how it works. Oh, it's because I didn't calculate it correctly in the beginning. Then freaking calculate it before you shoot it. Because once it's shot, you deliver it to the universe. So make sure you calculate it before. Oh, but it's taking ages because I'm still regretting. Then take the ages that you need. The problem is that people are too anxious to make things happen because they don't want to deal with pain and process pain. Okay? Don't feel guilty. Don't gaslight yourself because there are still things that you want to deal with. Just deal with them. Just don't ruin your potential. It's almost as if you're putting like in your arrow, you're putting a bag of sand with some weight. Because I couldn't wait. It's like, no, because I couldn't process that. But it's I wanna throw it so badly. Don't. You don't want to have any weight on your arrow, and you don't want to shoot it with fog in your eyes. You want to have a clear vision while aiming the arrow. You don't want to rush. Most people, they're like, oh, I can take the fog. Oh my God, I can take the fog. And the fog is this emotional. Remember, fog is air with water. Is a confused emotion mixed with a confused mind. Water, emotion, air, mind. Confused mind with confused emotion creates fog, creates blindness. You don't want that. Sort that out first before you shoot your arrow. Sort that out first. Balance before you shoot your arrows, okay? You want to do things, spread your orbs with a clear vision, because the two of swords is a card that says your mind, it's not even your mind, your logical side, it's not gonna help you. What's gonna sort out the things for you is your intuition. And your intuition is ruled by what? Your well-resolved emotions. If they're not well-resolved, there are things that need to be released, okay? That's why you got these guys. Speak your truth. Unleash your soul. Listen to the roar of your own heart. Stop listening to others. The word gaslighting keeps coming up. So stop gaslighting yourself. Stop listening to gaslight. And sometimes most gaslight that happens in our lives, most gaslighting is not others. Again, it's ourselves that gaslight it's us gaslighting ourselves with limiting beliefs that were taught to us. It's conditioned. It's conditioned gaslighting. It's like, oh, I should have done this by now. I should have been this by now. I should have earned this by now. I should do this by now. It's always this by now, by now, by now. What is by now? Everyone has their own rhythm, their own timing, their own destiny. The wheel of fortune number 10. Every wheel has its own rotation spin. If you try to spin a certain wheel or tire at the wrong rate, in the wrong type of flooring, asphalt, mud, whatever, call it whatever, anyway, surface, in the wrong type of surface, the wheel is gonna break. Most people are breaking down. I wonder why. Yeah, lots of metaphors. Very poetic person. So, energy to avoid. Lots of cards came down. None of them flipped over. You? All right. Energy to avoid. 7 at the back of the deck. Ascension. Literally ascension. And ascension here is the world. Is number 21, is completion. But I love it that is called ascension. That is what we're going through. I don't have to say anything, it just says it all. But the energy to avoid, just a second. The energy to avoid, 7 of crystals, which is the 7 of pentacles. And the 7 of pentacles is usually a card that is planting and waiting for the crops to grow. But in this deck, for me, it doesn't have that energy. In this deck, because they're crystals, crystals take time, and you don't plant crystals. And not just that, it's like this guy, he's isolated from everyone in the scene, and he's just counting his crystals and his coins, and it's literally waiting. Just keep waiting for the world to change. It's literally waiting for the world to change without you doing nothing. It's like you with your life, and yeah, life is gonna happen. Something is gonna change. Something is gonna come, and I don't have to do anything. It's like, nope. If you want something to change, if you're ascending, and behind ascension, there was the Ace of Wands and the Sage is the Queen of Orbs as Swords. So you have to take action, and it's not just action, it's rational action. It's rational action. And not just rational, the Queen of Swords is someone who knows how to control her desires and her impulses. Yes, she has a lot of emotions, but she knows how to control them. She knows. She comes from a rational place. She knows how to merge the perfect balance between heart and mind. Using this, you're going to go to a phase of knowing how to use and harness the power of your heart and mind with balance, and use it to create what you want. And it's gonna be uncomfortable, because this is uncomfortable. Balancing is uncomfortable. You have to get out of your comfort zone. Don't stay in comfort waiting for the world to change, okay? So yeah, you guys, I hope it all made sense. Thanks again for being here and for watching another video in the channel, for all the support. See you in the next video. Lots of love and light, and bye.